Welcome to the live show. I'm Nigel Main. This is the Go-to-Market Reset live show. Now, before I get started, I just want to do a few checks. I just want to make sure everything's okay, because this is a bit of a kind of a more of an impromptu live show, because I just need to come out of that. Because what we're doing, I will look at this camera in a second. I've got lots of screens open. We're kind of smack bang in the middle of loads of development, which is what I want to talk to you about. And the point is that we are making some kind of quite significant inroads, steps forward, all that kind of stuff. And I wasn't quite sure whether how we were going to do today, and then I realised that we hadn't actually scheduled a live show, and so it got set up. So I know that we're live on YouTube, but it's not feeding through to our website, which is unfortunate. But we have to. Well, it's just one of those things. But the thing is that even though these things happen, the fact that we are being seen, and someone's going to tell me in a minute that we're working on or visible, should I say, on LinkedIn. But the point is that doing the live show means showing up. That's the critical thing about this, and it's achievable by pressing a few buttons and going live. And I've kind of talked about this before. And the important thing about the live show is about the authenticity of what you're doing and how you're communicating to your market. And the point of this, and these not just the point of these shows, but what we're doing is we are changing the way that businesses can communicate with their total addressable market. And it's really key. I mean, what's happened over the past, I don't know, 20 odd years, everything's working, yeah? LinkedIn as well, yeah? Great. So we're on LinkedIn. Good. So the thing is that when you look at how B2B businesses have been able to operate, you start to realise that I don't want to say that we're backward, and I'm saying we because I'm not saying you. I'm saying we because I've been doing this for a long time, and we have really been the poor relation really to the way that marketing happens and our reach, our available reach. I just want to turn something on a second because I always forget this, and this is the live bit, yeah. There you go. I like a bit. It just kind of adds to the ambience. Anyway, so we've been like the poor relations, and by that I mean if you think about the consumer market, and you think about the large retail suppliers, so whether it's food or clothes or cars or whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is, they have a stranglehold, a hold, whatever you want to call it, on being able to communicate at massive scale. And so you go, well, yeah, because they're so big, they've got loads of money, massive budget, multi-billion, million billion, and they can spend that on marketing. But it's not just any old marketing, is it? It's programmatic advertising marketing. So if on this side you've got your entire massive people that, whether it's Heinz, whether it's, that type of thing. And in the middle, you have this programmatic mechanism that takes their clips, their videos, their adverts, puts it into this programmatic infrastructure, and it gets distributed to the networks. in the country or around the world. So massive budget, massive exposure, quid pro quo, millions and millions of people buy the product, and so it keeps going around. But for B2Bs, it's very difficult, very different. Because with B2Bs, problem is that you have a total addressable market. You have defined who you can sell to. You're not Microsoft, so you're selling to a sector, a segment within your market. And that's a problem, because you can't reach them. Nobody seems to be able to reach them. And so having this, with this in mind, knowing it implicitly, you've got to do something about it. But there's another added problem. And that added problem is the fact that we're the same. I will not receive a phone call, a cold call. I won't answer it. And I delete most of the emails that come through because it's just spam. So if that's what I do, the likelihood is that you do the same. So you won't speak to anyone. So if that's our starting point, that you don't want to speak to telesales people or people phoning you up on spec, because I love the analogy I really like is a car mechanic. Car mechanic phones you up and says, "Hey, Steve, can you bring your car in?" "Why?" "Well, I want to see if there's anything wrong with it." "Why would you want to do that?" "Well, I'm a bit short of cash. Thought I'd touch you for a few quid." Yeah? Doctor calls you up, says, private doctor, calls you up and says, "Could you come into the surgery?" "Why?" "I just wanted to give you a checkup." "Why?" "I just want to see if there's anything wrong." Not happening, is it? So when salespeople think that they're not, I don't want to say at liberty, but a salesperson contacts you, it's like, I'm not interested. That's why you have a gatekeeper. Sorted. So the issue is that we have a need to sell product, but the problem is that the people that we want to sell to don't want to talk to us. Not just yet. So they want to self-serve, self-educate, remain anonymous, calculate the ROI, and then speak to someone. Because I said this before, us business owners, we're not that stupid, really. You know, we do run businesses, thank you very much. We don't need some salesperson to come and tell us what to do. And if we need something, the likelihood that we know that it exists is pretty high. And what people have established and realised is that there's all this activity going on that they know nothing about. So how do you get connected with these people that are looking to buy stuff, but you don't know who they are and they don't know who you are? Well, you've got to kind of have a bit of a strategy with this. So that's what Sales Exchange has been about. And we've done some great things, even this past week, spectacular. And the impact is going to be massive for B2Bs, absolutely staggeringly massive. So the first thing I want to talk about is the page doesn't look. I'm looking at it now. I'm going to show you in a minute. The page doesn't look as good as it could. I have to admit, I'm not decided on how to make it look pretty, but I will at some stage. What this is for CEOs on our website, and it says Ask SX. And you think, well, so what? It's just like it's a chatbot, isn't it? Well, yes and no. Go back to what I said before, that business owners don't want to speak to salespeople. Equally, you probably don't want to speak to me, but I wouldn't call you anyway. But you know, we wouldn't have that. We wouldn't have a prospecting conversation. Not at any stage. Not at this stage anyway. But there are things that you would need to know about us, about go-to-market, about our take on go-to-market. And you might have a question at any time of the day or night. So you say, well, go on the website, type in your question. And you might think, well, yeah, we've seen it before. We've got ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, whatever. But the difference with this is that this is part of our infrastructure. I've been doing this a long time, and I've been working with AI for a long time, and the knowledge base that this has, at the moment it stands at 2.7 million words. It's going to go up shortly, I think it's 1,300 files we've got to put on there. And then my chat history with ChatGPT, which according to GPT is apparently in the region of 10 million words. So this is my brain available through that kind of, you call it a portal, but through Ask Sales Exchange. That's the difference. But it gets better than that, and there's more. So the point is that we have this problem called GDPR. And so it's about tracking IPs and all this kind of stuff. And it's problematic. Of course it is. But what we're able to do with this is completely anonymously. You can find out anything you want, which is great. But the questions that are asked inform us as to what people are thinking. And that kind of leads me on to closed loop. It's a tone of voice, closed loop. So when you type something into that, if you watch me for any period of time, if you type anything into that, you go, sounds just like Nigel. And it's supposed to be, because it's my tone of voice. It's how I speak. And I'm a bit, I wouldn't say caustic, but fairly sharp about what's gone on in marketing over the past 20 years. It's not good. And so we're at this point where we want to be in a position to deliver something that nobody else delivers. And this is the first thing, which is a knowledge base, is my tone of voice. And we also have this thing that we want to be able to invoke this kind of closed loop methodology. And so the closed loop methodology means that we can learn about it, but in as simple a way as possible. So if you're producing content and it's being distributed and it's being looked at, clicked on, read, reaction, comments, whatever, that's kind of where it stays. Just it happens and it disappears. When you put it in a closed loop, as we've done, it becomes a bit like a conveyor belt. So we post information out, we get comments and reactions and reactions to what we've sent out, and then the information gets collated because we can see what's been said because of the way that we have things set up. Let me just show you this. This is, I'll do a larger one there. No, I'll do that one. Closed loop. I'm off the screen for a minute. This is our closed loop system. So at 2 o'clock, we've got SX Reach. And this is what I'm talking about right now, which is the reach, how you reach out to people. So with SX Reach, what it means is you need to reach a market, not complicated, as a description. So we send information out. There is a reaction. That reaction is monitored because it's monitored by LinkedIn. And we get that analytical information. And that comes back into our main system, which is at the center, which is BigQuery, which is where we store all our data. In addition, we've got information on the website. So we've got this knowledge base on the website. People put questions in there, information, we respond to it. Data comes back in, says this is what's going on. Everything that happens on Google Analytics, everything that happens on email and the body of the email, what people do, how they respond, everything, absolutely everything is monitored and comes back and informs us before we send stuff out again. You think, well, okay, yeah, fine, you can see what they've said and done, and it gets sent out. But it's kind of better than that because I don't touch it. I mean, I really don't touch it. So we've created the closed loop, but it's self-informing and self-educating as an infrastructure. You have to kind of get this on the inside. This, nothing, as far as I'm aware, I have never seen anything like this before, ever. And you know, there's a thing about, you know, you can have an idea, but it's all about the execution. So what does this mean? What does it really mean? As an example, you do instruct your teams, whoever they are. You could have 10, 20,000, 10,000, it doesn't matter. You as a CEO says, go and do that, go and do as you're told. And your teams will go and do as they're told because they heard what you said, they know you paid a salary, they go and do as they're told. Makes sense, yeah? But one of the problems is when this comes to people in marketing, not individuals, I'm just saying that marketing function, you can say, go and do this. No, don't change. Oh, no, do this instead. That's what I think. I think we want to do this. Go and do this. And they'll say yes, but one of the problems is that it takes time to go, well, okay. We're now at a point where you can say, you can have anything you want. What do you want? You have to understand this is the most jaw-dropping and almost cataclysmic process and development in B2B new business development. Let me just explain what I do now. So I'll sit there with my coffee and have a think. How do I want to reach out to my total addressable market? I go, well, I'd like to do some social media posts. I'd like to do some carousels. I'd like to send some emails out as well, I guess. But really the social posts is we need to get that going because we've got people connected to us on our company profile. We've got personal profiles and so on. So I want to reach out to them that way round. So really the next thing would be, well, what do you want to say? And what about images? What about how's it going to be presented? What's the call to action? What's this going to be? Well, you've got loads of questions that need to be fulfilled in order to achieve it. Go back to what I said before about the knowledge base, about Ask SX and our 2.5 million, soon to be 15 million words. That's me. So I now say to Claude, Claude, I want to do 30 emails. This is what I want it to be about. This is the call to action. Sort out a picture for each post. And I want one track. Now we call a track. A track is 30 posts, which means one per day. And then repeat. So for me to send out, to process one track and send 30 posts a month, I just told you that's how long it took. Claude, I use Whisperflow, so Claude, I want you to do this, this, and this. I want this. This is the number of posts. I want it to go out performance-based. So it's going to be monitored and scheduled according to whatever is going to work. It writes them. It puts the call to action in. It puts the UTM code in. It generates the picture, generates the title text. 30 of them go out every one a day. 10 tracks, 10 posts a day. LinkedIn will allow up to 20. You wouldn't really want to do 20, but nevertheless, because we've still got video and clips and shorts and stuff to do. But that's the difference. So, where does it leave us? You have to think about it. I did this. So once I got it all working, I did this. I got it to do a post for me. There you go. You're like this. Every orchestra needs a conductor. B2B is no different. And that's the difference. So now you can be sitting there with your coffee and say, okay, what I want to do is I want a track that says this. And when you start getting into this, you go, okay, well, I'm trying to do that. I have another track that says this and another track that says that. And together they can build up this picture. Because the other problem that we've all got is that if I wanted to speak to you right now, I couldn't. Because you'd be busy watching me on this live show. No, seriously. Yeah? So if I want to communicate with you, like put out a post, how? How can I guarantee that you're going to see my post? I can't. Nobody can ever guarantee it. So we've got 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. How am I supposed to know when you're actually looking at your news feed on LinkedIn? Impossible. So what do we do about it? Well, you have to post every day. What time? I have no idea. Throughout the day. That's why you've got 20 posts. Not many people know that you could put 20 posts on LinkedIn, but you can. Some will throttle, some won't. Depends what's being said. But if every single... The thing is, if you put on... The way that we work this out, I did all of this manually, so I know how much time it saves. So you put out a post. If you put out the same post every day, it would get throttled and stopped because it's spam. Put out a post with a different image and a different text and different... I'm not saying call to action, doesn't matter, but different text, different image, it's different. And you could put the same one Monday, month 1, month 2 on Monday, first Monday of the week, same one, same post goes out. So you're putting out one post 12 times a year. I know this works. I've been doing it for 4 years. Constantly. So we have now been able to turn a B2B CEO into the conductor. Press the button, press the function button on your keyboard, speak to Claude and go, do this, would you? Any time of the day or night, it goes and does it. I got some really bad responses from that. Don't do it. Just cancel that one. Do a different one. Doubtful, but you see what I'm saying. So your ability to communicate at scale has been compressed into you pressing the function button on your keyboard, speaking to Whisperflow, and instructing Claude to do something. And because you do need multiple posts going out, they all need to be different kinds of messages, because people are at different places, different times. We all know that. It's called selling. So we've done something that I personally have wanted all of my working life in sales. The ability to snap my fingers and get something to be done without question. And for that to happen at scale. B2B's not overly bothered about social media because it's too much effort, too many people involved. You've got staff going, would you share this on your social profile, please? What a load of nonsense. You want to be there. You want to be present. You want to be constantly visible And that's the critical problem with most businesses. We ain't visible because we don't have a mechanism that enables us to do it. But going back to what I was saying at the beginning, you've got this programmatic mechanism that consumers use and retail use, been using it for 50 years on television. So 50 years, think about that. 50 years, B2B's been cold calling, still cold calling. And now, we've got AI. Round of applause. And what are they doing? Scrape and spam. We can get your ICP, your ideal customer profile, and we'll send out 150,000 emails and spam everybody. It's like, really? 50 years down the line and we're still doing that? Madness. And that's why it doesn't work. See the adverts on the posts on LinkedIn. I've got this amazing, we're doing 50 million a month monthly MMR, whatever. And this is how we do it. And here's my repository, my repo. You can steal this. You can have it. You can. Really? And it's a list of a load of connected platforms, SaaS platforms, 20, 22, 25, 20, 30 different. This is the perfect repo. And you go, 30 SaaS platforms. What are you talking about? And that makes absolute sense when you look at the statistics that says that the average is somewhere in the region of 35 SaaS platforms in a company. And the larger companies, it's like 90 odd. And I think I mentioned this some stats from last week. It costs like $3 or $4 per person in the company. Might as well be paying out for their private health. Shocking amount of money. But the great thing about this is, like, if you think about what we've all grown up with, what we've all been used to, you go, that sounds interesting. Do a demonstration. Let me see the screens. Let me see how pretty it looks. It's like, no, not really. A bit like Ricky Gervais. No, not really. It's voice activated. There's nothing to do. I mean, all you have to do is look at my profile and look at the posts. I don't touch them. You have to think about this, because the next part of this is jaw dropping again. I mean, it's what it is. So we've got this mechanism, voice activated, or tech. You type it in, voice activated mechanism to outbound social posts to drive traffic to either download or to watch a live show. As you can see with this one here, at the bottom, so we've got the post at the top. Above that, obviously, we've got the text, and then at the bottom we've got watch the live show. We could be adding some different ones to say go on the knowledge base. So now this is all achievable at scale, like massive scale. One person. But we say that to make this a complete process, what you need to do is drive traffic to a call to action. Everybody understands that. So we have got, and it's ongoing, call to action to our PDFs. So we've got a GTM reset, GTM landscape, GTM audit PDF. And we've had yesterday it was like 1,880 in 90 days, so probably 100 days now. Nearly 1,900 downloads. You have to think about it. And I'm never going to cold call anyone. But if you've been in business long enough, you're going to know and recognise that pyramid that says you've got your mission, strategy, tactics, and ops. Mission is 10 years, strategy is 5 years, tactics is 3 years, ops is every year. So it can take you up to 5 years to change and buy something, or make a quantum change. And I think that they're probably more derived from digital transformation, that type of thing. Because it takes time. You're going to have a big change to the company. You're not going to do it overnight. And certainly not because some salesman rings you up. So a very important development. And so, you know, we've got today's, this particular show today. And some people may or may not go, you didn't sound any different. I have absolutely no script whatsoever, but deliberately. That's why I'm relaxed, having a drink, and I'm not touching it and stop, start. Oh, I've missed my place. Nothing, no script at all. I think, blimey, he can talk. But what are we doing next? Well, what we're doing next is I'm in the process of sorting out a new live show series, but I'm going to do it differently, because once we get the completed corpus, the body of work, all of my words into BigQuery, I'm going to get my scripts written for me. And we'll do another 12, because I just finished the last 12. So this will be series 5. And I'll do 12 shows, 12 scripts. And it will write the scripts for me in my voice. We've got the OS, which is what we're selling. We've got the course. I'll come on to the course a bit later. So I've got these different call to actions and the different things and the different issues and problems that happen within the B2B industry. So it will write 12 scripts for me. And then, based upon those scripts, it will create multiple posts that will be sent out communicating about the upcoming week's live show. Just for a week. Because the following week, it's a different show, different script. The following week, different show, different script. And then it will include our email. So we have an email list that is our total addressable market. The same, you will have one too. And depending on your size, you could have, it could be 1,000, could be 10,000, could be 20,000 people in a given region or location. And it will send an email out saying, we've got a new sequence coming, we've got a new script, a new live show coming up, all about what blah, 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 blah. And the email will go out on a strategic date prior to the actual live show. And then it will go out of the following week, a different one, and the following week, a different one, all coordinated back to the script and what's going to be talked about. Now, in addition, you have LinkedIn banners. Same again. LinkedIn banners get structured and processed programmatically and appear based upon that week's live show. Process it. Think about what this means. So we're saying, in order for you to reach your total addressable market, you've got to do live streaming. Because you have no idea where they are, who they are, where they are in terms of their buying cycle, the sales stage. You have no idea where they are. Within that 5-3 years, 1 year process, or that whatever your sales stages are, say it was 12 months, you've got a 12-month sales stage cycle, so is everyone else. So is everybody else, every other competitor you've got, same process. You think about this. Every single business in the world has got exactly the same software, the same route to market. Everyone's doing demand gen, lead gen, ABM, pay-per-click, SDRs, BDRs, telesales. No different anywhere. Every single company, absolutely identical. You could shift if you wanted to. If every single company in B2B was on the outside of a clock, outside of a clock, yeah. If you just moved them one space there are 212,000 businesses that are 10 to 50. 50 to 250, there are 38,000. I think it was 38, 36,000. And above 250, there are 8,000. You could put all of those businesses on the outside, on a circle, and just move everybody one pace. Doesn't matter the size, as in size of business, irrelevant. Virtually every single one of them will have marketing automation, doing pay-per-click, doing a bit of social posting. Every single one of them the same. And that's what you're competing with. And pretty much every business will go, well, actually, no, business is not so good. Could be better. We'd like it to be better. And we know it's no different, because the average annual recurring revenue full-time equivalent is 80, 90 grand. Some of it going down a bit lower than that. And that's it per person per annum. Bigger companies, yeah, bigger, higher, 50, 100, 150. Thereabouts. But it's never enough. And some of the bigger ones, the reason it looks like it's more, but they're carrying more debt, more investment. So, you know, there's more of a lot more stress to get those businesses to work. But nevertheless, ratios are screwed. The ratios are wrong. And it's like, how can everybody be doing exactly the same thing with all exactly the same software, and everybody thinking that they've got an edge? It's madness. It's a con. Whereas, if you go down the path of saying, right, we've now got the ability to communicate at scale every single day and chop and change and analyse it, and for everything to be automated so we don't have to sit and have endless meetings that say, what happened with this particular creative? Was it any good? Yes, well, but you're having it delivered to you every day, every week, every month. Up to you. You say, Claude, how's it going? What's happening? What happened with this? Where are we at the moment? There's nothing. It's the most liberating process to ask something, give me the data, and you get it instantly. It's spectacular, because every single thing's connected, even up to your accounts. Okay, well, what was our exposure this month? What was the change in pipeline this month? There's figures, bang. This is what A16Z have been talking about. They keep talking about it. I've seen 3 now in the past few months, couple of months, about system of record. They use Granola to record everything. Slightly different to what we do, because we're putting our intelligence into BigQuery and being able to draw from that for it to talk like us, speak like us, understand us in a certain way. Because that whole tone of voice means that it's not just a script; it's everything that gets written. Everything that gets written. This infrastructure now changes the entire methodology, working practices of businesses, B2Bs, period, finished. This is the change. Buckmaster Fuller is his surname. I can't remember his Christian name now, but he said if you're going to do anything, you've got to make the old obsolete before you change it. You can't just say, here's something new. It becomes obsolete. Why would you want to spend all that money? You wouldn't. So you've now got this point where you're able to communicate at scale and adapt, and it adapts, it learns, it changes, and sends something out different if it's relevant. And all you do, all your people do, is turn up on a Thursday morning at 11 o'clock and go, here's this. They could have a teleprompter and just talk. You know, Joe Rogan hasn't got a script. He's got a guide, but that's it. And that's what people want to do. They want to hear you talking. They want to hear you conversing. They want to see what your company is like, how you communicate. Can we get to know, like, and trust you? Is what they want. And that's why live is so important, It doesn't matter, whether you scratch your nose or do whatever. It's irrelevant, because people want to see the real you. If they want something polished, they'll look at a video, because a video should be polished. Beautifully colour graded, great lighting and everything else. So you have to think about it. So if you think about this now, you can't reach your total addressable market. You're trying to do it one at a time with your BDRs, and nobody's doing target. And that's how it's going to be this month, next month, and the next month. Ad infinitum, period. That's it. Or you change and you go, right, let's communicate to our market at scale, email every single one of them, because if you haven't got the database, you bloody well should have. Yeah? Because it costs next to nothing and you should have the database. That should be what the BDRs are working from, not keeping smashing Sales Navigator. You should have a structured way of communicating with them. But when you're constantly asking to meet, they don't want to meet. They just need to be informed. And this enables them to be informed. So with us, for example, emails go out. This is what we're doing. Which one is it? Is it this one? Here's our infrastructure. Here's the knowledge base. This is what we're doing. Come and join us next week. And over time they get, this guy is not going to contact us. Nobody from that company is going to contact us, and we can dip in there and find out anything we want. I mean, even with this particular diagram, if you click on it, it gives you the information at the bottom: live, connect, ops, and so on. But if we go on to talk about SX Connect, so you've done this. You've communicated with them. Messages are going out. Banners are appearing in your total addressable markets news feeds, because you've uploaded that database to LinkedIn as well. So you're focusing just on that group. They watch you on screen. They go, do you know what? I like that company. I've had a look at the information. I downloaded it. No stress. I'll have a meeting. I'll talk to them. You go, okay, you want to talk to us? Not a problem. What you need to do, go onto our website, click on book a meeting, do the self-serve discovery. So you fill out all the documentation. So we've all got it, when we start having a chat. And you book a time. And you think, well, that's fairly innocuous. Well, I could do that. That happens. And on our system, it processes the information, produces the proposal, produces the cost comparison, produces the slide deck, does the research on the company that this person belongs to, and the research on them individually based on, with their like LinkedIn profile and so on, which anybody has access to, and delivers that to the salesperson within about 5 or 10 minutes of that meeting being booked. And then you do the meeting, and you do a live meeting like this. Send them, any adjustments be made to your proposal, do it, and then enter the information on a system. And now you've got absolute 100% cradle to grave. You've got, from your exposure and impressions to your total addressable market, right the way through to, we know that we achieve that many impressions and this much comes out at the end, and this is how it affects our pipeline. That's what the Sales Exchange operating system is. And to my knowledge, I've seen stuff like Hey Victor and so on that uses to do with Slack and so on, but it's not the same. This is about selling. This is about something for salespeople. To be fair, I'm not being fair. To be honest, I'm not interested in marketing. Fed up with it. Because we all love marketing because we see it, whether it's on a screen or social media or whatever, and great adverts, whether it's Red Bull or whether food, it's irrelevant. Great, we love it. And that's where the marketing is. This is a different animal, because businesses, like I said, We self-serve, self-educate, calculate the ROI. We're looking at something that's going to make us some money, not look good on us. We can't put SaaS on. Be sassy maybe, but you can't. You can't put a piece of software on. Trainers in trousers, yes, you can. So it's looking at the market and going, wait a second, the market is being approached wrongly, completely wrongly. And that's why there needs to be a change. I mean, it's a significant change. So that's where we're at. It's happening. It exists. It's, to me, breathtaking, amazing, absolutely amazing. I love it. Absolutely love it. Does it affect the numbers of people? Yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. And if one person, I know that I'm outputting more content than companies hundreds of times larger than we are. Hundreds of times larger. Thousands. Our output is unusual because it's orchestrated and it's completely hands-off. People see the content, they can engage, or they can watch. And everything that when you do a live show, going back to the live show thing, afterwards it gets recorded, or during it gets recorded, and then it gets converted into a video and chopped up into shorts and clips. And that creates another 30-odd thousand people looking at us every month. All I'm saying is it warrants some consideration. It absolutely warrants it. Think about the options, two choices. Yeah. I hear what you're saying, not interested. Now, if you've seen the technology curve, you've got innovators, early adopters, and then you've got mid-late majority and the laggards. Depends where you want to be. But when you realise that every single one of your competitors has got exactly the same software, whether it's called Marketo, or Eloqua, Pardot, HubSpot, who cares? It's all the same. Zoho, Salesforce, all the same. Dynamics, irrelevant. Everybody does the same. Demand gen, lead gen, AB, and pay-per-click. So how can you compete? And everybody understands that business is business and that's just how it is. Or you can evaluate this, look at it. You have to. Because it corrects the ratios. It corrects the ratios of what people have to do and who needs to do them. And I mentioned this the other week. I read the story about IKEA. So IKEA put some AI in, really great, rah, rah, rah. And they realised that it could actually alleviate them of 8,500 staff. But before they did that, they made sure they knew what was happening. And it was to do with customer success support and advice and so on. And they go, right, before we fire everybody, we're going to retrain them. So they retrained everybody to address and align themselves with the queries that were coming in through as a result of AI. They've increased their annual income by 1.4 billion. So it's not a matter of AI comes in and gets rid of everyone. You've got to adjust, develop, change. That's what this life is all about. So that's how it is. So the point is, you have to be a business that can think on its feet. The current methodology for marketing, you don't think on your feet. It's cookie cut. You're doing what everybody else is doing. 100%. 100%. I mean, you might even do exhibitions. You've seen an exhibition. You've been to an exhibition. You've done exhibitions. What does it look like? Everybody looks the same. Vultures waiting for someone to step on the stand, zap them with the card reader, barcode reader. Come on. If you want to be different, you've got to be different. But with the OS, it becomes different. You are different. You're completely different. Your USP, your unique selling point is you, because you're driving all that traffic to watch you on a live show. Nobody can copy that. Never, ever, 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 ever. Send them an email, one of thousands a week. Video, thousands a week. Even the posts, it's just noise until it becomes coordinated, and now you can do it. Stop, start, change, add. There's nothing like it. It's absolutely nothing like it. It should totally change your perspective on business, because now you're able to be that. You're able to be that person, that conductor. I keep doing that. I end up. I look at that and I say, chat. Talk about the conductor. Look at the script, and I keep my focus on the camera, which is, of course, you would. And I forget that I've got it on. So I need someone else to go press the button. So now we've got this bit of space. I can move my arms around. But that's what we want. We want you. You want you to be the conductor. That's where the money is. This is not rocket science. And if you're able to say, right, we need a bit more of that. We need a bit more exposure. We want more impressions. How are we doing with the impressions, Claude? They're great. I know. I said this last week. I know we have double the ongoing average, double the average, and 4 times the average on email opens and engagement. It's great. And it kind of boils down to something really, really simple. It's about repetition. So the reason you get the needle with adverts coming on all the time is because the same ones come on again and again and again. If you watch, I don't know, Prime, they seem to think that we all need cleaning, whether it's washing machine, dishwasher, washing, or kitchen. The cleaning, it's cleaning everywhere. It's like, what's going on? Really annoying. But it's repetition. So they get it. And the whole thing about repetition, you go back to Robert Zajonc, who worked with Daniel Kahneman. I said the whole thing about repetition is that if you see something regularly, frequently enough, and it doesn't kill you, this is relating to animals, it doesn't kill you, it's probably safe. We do the same. See it regularly enough, think it's fairly safe. We recognise it in the supermarket, which is what they do. But you can't do that with B2B selling because there's no repetition, doesn't exist. Oh, we used to have repetition. It was called a telesalesperson, but he's left now. You know I know. Yeah? So the point is that we look at the 5-year, 3-year and 1 year. And decisions can take a long time. Because let's face it, we've all heard it all. Someone comes up with something, you go, oh, yeah, right. Pfft. More SaaS, more this, more that, more expense. But the cost of this is tiny, tiny, tiny compared to what you're spending. You would lose virtually all of your SaaS platforms. You would redistribute your HR, your human resources, retrain them doing other stuff. You would reduce the necessary sizes of teams down to something that you've never, ever, ever experienced before. There is absolutely nothing like this, I'm pleased to say. And so the whole thing about being able to be a conductor, you've got to know what you're doing. Yeah, you've got to know the score. I'm from North London, so you've got to know the score. But you've got to know the orchestral score inside out. So you can more of this, more of that. Tone that down, bring that up. Yeah, and away you go. In order to do that, there's a bit of reframing, reorientation, retraining, not training, retraining. You don't need to be trained how to run your company, but some kind of reorchestration up here in your mind about what you can do, what you can achieve, and how you would want to do that. And if you think, if every single company is doing the same thing, then it's going to stand to reason you need to get your people thinking differently. Rethinking, reframing, retraining, all that kind of stuff. And to do that, we've got a course. The course we have. Do the course, evaluate it, get it, grasp it, then buy the operating system. All makes sense. Tiny cost just to make sure everyone's on the same page. Whoever you think should do the course, go and do the course. We actually say that it should be the CEO, you as a CEO, plus someone else who you trust. Do it together and discuss it together before you get anybody else to do it. And that's the recommendation. And so, tiny amount cost-wise to do the course. Do the course, think about it, process it, speak to us, organise what needs to be done, understand the implementation mechanisms and so on, and then then get it installed. It will change your entire future strategy of your business. And I'm not saying buy it now, special offer. No, because neither you nor I would ever do that. I want to know, I want to understand, and once I get it and understand it, and if I think it's valid, I'll do it. And that's what we're saying for you to do. And that's it. I think that's a sensible place to end it. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, it's one of those things. We're talking something. This is really serious because it's the future success of your business. So it's not like we're chatting to some celebrity. This is the most serious discussion that we could ever have about your business. So I hope all of it made sense. That's the important thing. So there's two or three things. The website, look at the website. Look at for CEOs, the knowledge base. Ask it any question. I should have said this at the time, because that's what we want to do for you. So take all of your content and do the same thing. So you have the same knowledge base, type of knowledge base that relates to your business. And just replicate all of this and reach your total addressable market. Because if you can reach 10,000 people and you think you're getting 300 to 1 and finding someone that might be interested, what a nightmare. Finding people one at a time. If you've got 10,000 people that you could be selling to and you can reach one a week, not good. So you need to change those ratios, change the employment ratios, change your profitability ratios. And that's it. So that's it from me for today. I'm going to continue with our development and what we're doing. And I hope you join me next week. And we should have some more updates for you then. And then when we're ready with our new show, I'm going to tell you that we're ready for our new show next week. Keep an eye out and you'll see everything that's being produced for it. And I would hope you'd be sitting there going, God, we've got to get this in. We've got to have this. Because no one can touch it. No one can touch it. Because my perspective, I'm on the side of salespeople. I'm on the side of the CFO. And I'm on the side of the CEO. Because the buck stops with you. And I know that. And if you're owner manager, financially the buck stops with you as well. And if you're invested in, buck stops with you, because if you don't make it happen, they'll replace you. So none of it good. And the people that are consistent are the marketers. And the marketers, as CB Insight said, are responsible for 52% of business failures. That's it. Enjoy the next 7 days. I say have a great week. It's only Friday. But nevertheless, I'll just make sure I will press the correct button this time. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.
If this changed how you think about GTM, you're just getting started. Explore the full Revenue Reset series and join us live next week.